Hey, what's going on, guys? So, just got done working. I had to work staff duty again this weekend, so I was at work all day Saturday. Now it's Sunday. So, my weekend is going to last for about 15 hours. Go to sleep, wake up, start the whole weekend over, or the whole week over. But that's all right, because next weekend I have a 4-day weekend, and it's South by Southwest in Austin. So, all these huge bands are coming, and I think we're going to head up there and just check it out, even though traffic is going to be ridiculous. Try a bunch of new different foods, listen to some music, and just have a good time. But I'm about to go hit a workout, leg workout today. Got a bunch of stuff I want to talk about in today's video and the rest of the week because yesterday at staff duty, nothing's really going on. I just have to be there in the building in case something happens. So I had a lot of time to think about what I wanted to talk about in upcoming videos and show you guys and just really bring to your attention. So there's a lot of good content coming this week and just a lot of stuff I want to cover. But for breakfast this morning, this is something I used to do all the time. And it's what I like to eat when I'm in like a pinch. I don't have much time. I got home from work. I wanted to go straight to the gym. So what I did is I just took 1 cup of egg whites, 2 eggs, put them in a pan, just making eggs like normal. And then I threw in dry oatmeal into the egg mixture before it started cooking. So you got to use the old-fashioned oats. You can't use the quick oats for this. I've tried it countless times before in the past. And if you use the quick oats, it just does not turn out right. So use the whole oats. Throw them all in there, mix it up together. I throw some parsley, some salt, some pepper in there, and it turns out really well. And the thing is, it's not going to be really dense and sit in your stomach for a while. It digests easy. So if you're in a pinch and you're running around, or maybe you just can't handle a lot of food, try mixing eggs and dry oatmeal together. I swear it's like one of the best things ever. You wouldn't think it would taste good, but it turns out surprisingly well. Something else I wanted to bring up, and I like using this channel more for personal training, nutrition, supplementation, advice kind of stuff, even though it is for my business. And I don't bring up my products a lot just because I don't want to try to sell you in every video. But if you're new to the channel and you don't know, I own a supplement company. I own Bear Performance Nutrition, and this is one of our products that is probably my favorite and a lot of people's favorite. It's a branched chain amino acid Intraflight. That's what it's called, Intraflight. And the ingredient profile is something I'm really proud of and that has got a lot of attention on the market. So per serving, you get 30 servings. You get 8 grams of branched chain amino acids, 3 grams of citrulline malate, 2 grams carnitine L-tartrate, 500 milligrams of agmatine sulfate, and 3 grams of taurine. So if you're looking for a branched chain product, check it out. It's really good intra-workout or post-workout. So going to hit this workout. Hope you guys enjoy this video, and I will see you during the workout. Alright guys, so going into today's workout, it was a squat workout, and I took probably a half hour worth of mobility, just pre-training stretching, because going into the workout, my hamstrings were tight, my calves were tight, my hip flexors were tight, so I really wanted to take the time since it was a Sunday, and I wasn't stressed on time, and just working things out as I would squat here and there with no weight, and just really focus on what was tight, and then going into my working sets, I was feeling wonderful. So today's workout, I did something different, and I'll talk about it here in a little bit, is working up with total volume. Now today's total volume on squats, working sets, was 8,000 pounds. And that's just your weight times your reps times your sets. So I did 7 sets at 3 reps at 395, which is about 83% of my 1 rep max. And I felt really good. It's a rep scheme I'm really comfortable with, and I'm going to start incorporating more because it hits you hypertrophy wise and strength gain wise. And then after this, I went into some extensions, curls, and hack squats. Now yesterday, because I had some free time, I read some studies, I watched some videos, and I'm going to reference a study that I read and that Layne Norton also referenced. And it was in regards to hypertrophy and volume in terms of an athlete training at a lighter weight for more reps, less sets, so say 3 sets at 10 reps, or an athlete training at a heavier weight, less reps and more sets, so say 3 reps but 7 sets. And that's what I did today. And they found that in the terms of hypertrophy, it was the same. So stimulating muscle growth, but in terms of strength, the athlete that trained at a heavier weight at less reps and more sets became stronger. So how this really relates to me right now, or maybe possibly you guys, is that I'm focusing on bodybuilding and powerlifting. So I want to get bigger and I want to get stronger at the same time. Working, in this 10-5-3-1-1-1 rep scheme, for me is great to find my 1 rep max, my true 1 rep max. But at the same time, I'm still trying to put on some weight. And putting on weight and size, muscle density, squatting heavy for a lot of volume helps. So right now I'm starting at 8,000 pounds. If you can't go heavier, you're not getting stronger, add more volume. So maybe add more sets, add more reps at that weight. And adding more volume will improve your hypertrophy and your muscle gains. Now, I get a lot of questions from people, and the main intent or the purpose of their question is they want to know what they should do, and they want my input. And it's really hard to tell someone based on my experience what they should do when I'm just getting like a paragraph of their background and their situation. And if I could work with that person one-on-one for a period of time, I think I could really help them. But there is no blueprint. That's what I wanted to title this video. Don't know if I'm going to, but there used to be this workout back in the day called the Blueprint, and it pretty much just told you what exactly you should do. But in reality, you need to work or find what works for you best. And that's like the best part about the sport, whether it be bodybuilding, powerlifting, or just working out in general, is that everyone responds to different volume, different reps and set ranges. And you'll find that out as you go. It's not something, it's just, hey, this is what works for me and this is what doesn't. People like Lane Norton and Johnny Candido are still finding out what works for them. And Nick Wright, for example, who is a newer, powerlifter to the scene, but he's still experimenting, and they all are still experimenting with these different workouts and rep ranges and rep sets and volume. And that's just what is so great, is that there's no blueprint. There is no set plan of what you need to do in order to achieve the end goal or the end state. What I'm really excited for is to start dieting for my next show. And this is probably in 2 years from now. But when you start dieting down, you really see the progress you made over the last couple weeks and months and years. And it was pretty cool. Bryce Lewis made a status the other day that said, he's been working out for 10 years, and it was something like 2,000 workouts he'd done in that time period. And you don't see the progress from maybe week to week or month to month, but over 10 years and 2,000 workouts, you really see the progress.
The destination is on your left.
So on the way home from the gym, stopped and got a pizza. This is like my favorite pizza place. It's right on the same road as my gym. And I'm not a huge fan of like Domino's, Papa John's, Pizza Hut, stuff like that. Just because I feel like, even though they say fresh ingredients, I feel like the ingredients aren't that fresh. So I like mom and pop pizza shops. And back in Pennsylvania, they're everywhere. Down here in Texas, I'm having a hard time finding. And in Georgia, I couldn't find any mom and pop shops. So I'm kind of tracking this today. This is like really like a free meal. So I just like picked up pizza on a generic MyFitnessPal app. I put in 4 pieces. I'm probably going to have 6, maybe 7 pieces of pizza. But this is my free meal and I'm going to enjoy it. So I ended up having like 6 slices. But I want to show you guys this. I ordered this like a few days ago online because someone pointed out one of these videos. I didn't even know this thing existed. But I want to do board presses, but it's just hard because I go to the gym when I don't always have a partner there or someone to spot me, someone to hold the boards. So Elite FTS makes this thing. I think it cost me like $50, $60 with shipping. But it's equivalent to 2 boards. And when it just slides onto the bar and then it'll just go down to your chest. So I'm going to be using this thing tomorrow, trying out my chest workout. I'll be doing board deadlifts with 12 boards this week. And then bench presses with these board presses. So in tomorrow's video or whenever it's uploaded, I'll let you know how this thing works out. But I'm really excited to try it out. It seems like it's really sturdy. It has a little bit of cushion. So, it should work out pretty well. But Elite FTS, really excited to try it out. All right, guys, so I'm going to make some protein donuts. And I really cannot take credit for this. I found this online yesterday on Instagram by Food Fitness by Paige. She has a blog with a bunch of different recipes. I'll put on her Instagram name or username at the bottom. You guys can check her out. But the recipe I made just now turned out really well. Made 6 donuts and I topped it with a cream cheese and then vanilla Greek yogurt frosting and then some apple pie spice. So I'm about to show you the recipe for 6 donuts, the entire recipe, and I ate the whole thing. The macros are 15 grams of fat, 88 grams of carbs, 26 grams of fiber. Yeah, 26 grams of fiber in one sitting. I just ate that, except for this donut. And 69 grams of protein. So we will get into this recipe and you guys can check it out. These are going to be apple cinnamon protein donuts using a Quest bar actually. So I just threw a Quest bar in a bowl, microwaved it for like 15 to 20 seconds. Really watch it because it melts really fast. That's going to be the kind of base. Then you're going to add half a cup of almond milk, a third cup of egg whites, and then half a diced apple. The apple gets really good. You get like apple pieces in, just make sure it's evenly spread. And then 1 serving of a complete pancake mix. I'm just using like an HEB original. Some apple pie spice, and then you can add cinnamon, Splenda if you want, or like vanilla extract. 1 scoop of protein powder. I'm using the cinnamon bun, so it kind of works in the favor of these protein donuts. And then a serving of coconut flour. So the coconut flour plus the Quest bar plus the apple, that's where the 26 grams of fiber is coming from. But they ended up turning out really well. And then for the icing, I mixed a serving of fat-free cream cheese and then half of one of those individual serving vanilla Greek yogurts by Yoplait or Chobani, whatever you want to use, and then just top it with some more apple pie spice. Alright guys, so the last thing I want to touch on in this video is something I really wanted to include in the Q&A, but there were just so many questions that I just couldn't get to it. And it's something I get asked almost every day on all different social media platforms. And that is how to transition from a cut to a bulk. And there's not one set way to do it. It's not dogma. And it really depends on what situation you're in. And I think a lot of people that are asking the question aren't in competition shape, meaning like sub 6% body fat. If you're sub 6% body fat and you've been dieting for a long time and it's a really hard diet to get to a very low body percentage, chances are your metabolism is somewhat slowed down. And you might need to reverse diet, adding more carbs and fats over a long period of time. Protein probably has stayed the same throughout your dieting, but the intent of that is to increase food as much as possible without gaining just a lot of body fat. You need to put some body fat on, after being in competition shape, just to be healthy again. But the intent or the overall goal is to increase the food without gaining a lot of body fat at a time. Now, if you're not in competition shape, transitioning from a cut to a bulk is pretty easy. You just slowly start incorporating more food. Most likely your metabolism isn't shot from dieting, and the intent for you is just to eat more. You don't want to gain too much body fat during a bulk. And I know I've talked about in other videos that I'm not a huge fan of the whole bulk season, cut season, bulk season, cut season. I like just being in a little bit above maintenance, so I'm in a surplus and I'm gaining, but very slow. And then when I do cut, it's only for a special occasion, like a bodybuilding show, if I need to cut weight for a powerlifting meet, something like that, some sort of event. So if you're transitioning from a cut to bulk, your protein's probably going to stay the same. Fats will probably jump up a little bit, but carbs are what you're really going to manipulate. And in increasing carbs slowly in order to gain more weight, more strength, be in a surplus, but you don't want to gain a lot of fat right away, because having a lot of weight and some of that being fat, there's no positive correlation with being or getting stronger. As long as you're in a surplus and you're gaining, you're seeing progress, don't feel that you need to throw in a bunch of food in your diet at once. So I think that kind of touches on some of the questions you guys have been asking. Hope that really does help. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you in the next one.